5 international charities are urging the United States to stop all of its military activity in Yemen. They say the U.S. support for a Saudi-led coalition will soon lead to widespread famine and the deaths of millions. Correspondent Wyatt Goolsby reports from the State Department. Good evening, Wyatt.
Good evening, Lauren. Top officials here at the State Department have given no indication they'll change course when it comes to Yemen. But aid groups say the U.S. military is at least partially responsible for the world's worst humanitarian crisis, one they say is only getting worse.
8-month-old Yasmin is just one of many infants in this Yemeni hospital. She, like the others, don't cry. The babies are severely malnourished, their bodies lethargic and feeble, and lack the energy to cry. The World Health Organization says the nearly 4-year-long war has led to food insecurity in the country.
Many people do not have access to enough food and to the right types of food. At the same time, there are outbreaks of diseases, infections such as cholera, measles, malaria, pneumonia.
The United Nations report more than 1.3 million children have suffered from severe acute malnutrition since a Saudi-led coalition went to war with Yemen's Houthi rebels, backed by Iran, in March of 2015. Now, 5 international charities say the U.S. must stop its military support for Saudi Arabia. In a joint statement by the International Rescue Committee, Oxfam America, CARE U.S., Save the Children, and the Norwegian Refugee Council, 14 million people are at risk of starving to death if both parties don't change course immediately. One of the most violent areas is the port city of Hodeidah. Airstrikes and street battles have left most of the city destroyed. David Beasley with the World Food Program says the port is the country's lifeline, where most of the fuel and food is brought in.
I'm here at this port today to send a very clear message to the world that we need to protect this port at all costs, make certain that it can function at the highest capacity, because if we don't, people are going to die.
But the fighting is still raging in Hodeidah and other areas, and previous peace efforts have failed to produce any agreement to stop the violence.
Secretary of Defense James Mattis says peace talks will take place next month in Sweden and that all parties, the rebels, Yemen's government, Saudi Arabia, are all on board. Now, Bishop Paul Hinder, who's the apostolic vicar in southern Arabia, which includes Yemen, told the Italian daily newspaper La Stampa it's difficult to have a clear sense of what's going on there because he cannot enter the country himself. He adds faithful Christians, which have always been small in Yemen anyway, have already been reduced even more. Lauren?
Correspondent Wyatt Goolsby reporting from the State Department. Thank you, Wyatt.